The tournament final begins with Roa versus Romin. But was their duel a concert of rock and roll that shook the soul, or did they get booed off the stage? Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and thank you for joining me as we talk about all things episode 49 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime series. Overall, this episode was really fun and enjoyable, containing a lot of symbolism, and the result of the duel was somewhat surprising. So to start off this video, I want to talk about the ending cliffhanger from episode 48, in where we saw a drone watching over Rook and the rest of the cast within Maximum Mountain. It turns out that drone belonged to Mimi, and fair play to the girl, she does work extremely hard. Not hardly getting a moment's rest, working while on the toilet in fact, shows a lot of dedication to her position within Goha. Yes, she's the president, so she has to put in a lot of effort. Plus, also making those cool looking crowns. Good job, Mimi. However, this scene does once again tell us as the audience that Goha, aka Mimi and President Drone, don't have a clue as to who sent in that notebook on how to destroy Rush Duels at the start of this arc. As a comment saying, the note, or the writing on the note that Goha 66 has is identical to the one of the notebook that Mimi and Drone received at the start of the arc. So yes, they're still looking for clues as to who is set up this tournament, who gave them that information and that booklet, who is guiding Goha 66 to this abandoned server that's not even working anymore. However, this opening segment does give Goha a tiny bit of credit as an organization. Confirming that the drone at the end of episode 48 was in fact Mimi means that Goha at least are able to find out about this off-branch organization in Goha 66 that were targeting Goha as a way of getting revenge. Although you could possibly call it a coincidence that Mimi sent a drone to Maximum Mountain, just seeing the sheer amount of volume of people that were going towards that specific location, but I like to think that it's a fact that is showing that Mimi and Drone are actually being a bit competent as a, organizational figurehead at the top of Goha. Now, before we get into my thoughts about the duel itself, I do want to mention the fact that I personally do not like this new host of this tournament. If we look at the past characters that look identical to this one, you know who I'm talking about, the Sirakos, the Finger Chikakos, the Sweets Kokako. When comparing this new one to those three that have come before her, I just don't find myself getting interested within this fish type creature version. Yes, the fish puns are okay, but at the same time, I just have no reason to connect or just get interested by her, so I'm getting quite bored of this one. Could we get a different one soon? Cool. Maybe not, but let's see. Now then, moving on to the duel itself. Leaving the meaningful story stuff out of the way, for a minute I do want to just say the visuals and the sound effects really help to create an exciting atmosphere and vibe that helps make this duel one of the best duels within this current story arc. A lot of high energy, intensity, and a lot of new decent card designs being revealed. The new cards being added also adds another layer of excitement in building up this tournament final vibe, as both opponents step up to face each other, showing off a variety of new cards, styles, and combos. For the first time in a while, I was excited to see these combos get pulled off and how the duel was going to turn out. I was invested in this duel, and yes, the duel between Asana and Tiger was cool, but I was more interested in the backstory for that one as opposed to them dueling. This one, within episode 49, just felt like a really good solid duel that got me excited. I felt like I was part of the crowd that they were trying to hype up with their music, with their kind of showboating and their flashy styles of dueling. Now, it could also play to the fact that there is also two fantastic characters in Roa and Romin that are dueling each other within this episode. So maybe the duel does have that going for it as well. And we have been anticipating these characters clashing in a duel, facing each other one-on-one, and we finally got that. But yeah, honestly, I just enjoyed the duel personally, just from what it presented in the visuals, the effects, the kind of atmosphere and vibe it presented. And with Roman winning this duel, it doesn't really bother me too much. I wasn't too big on the idea, and I wasn't too bummed down by the idea. In fact, if I was to guess who I thought was going to win this duel, I had my money on Roa winning. So yeah, I think Roman's a good character, but I just didn't think she had Roa's number in this episode. But she did look great in winning, so I won't take that away from her. She did a great job. But the thing I really did not like about Roman's character within this episode was that whole, I have to win, because somewhere out there, Princess G is watching me. I mean, to me personally, that kind of screams out a childlike mentality from Roman's character. Which, okay, she's a kid, but it just kind of reminded me of a kid in a play wanting to outshine the other characters because he knows his dad or mum is in the crowd watching him. Now, personally speaking, I would have loved Roman to not have said this line, because it makes me feel like Roman is only dueling on the off chance that Princess G is watching her and she doesn't want to let her down. It's great, you don't want to let your role models down. That's fine. But at the same time, I thought Roman would be a character that wants to win and duel for herself. Create a fun, lively atmosphere and experience for the audience with her duels, with her jam, so that she herself can make a name for herself and be a star like Princess G, and one day duel her in a jam session that makes her an equal while on stage with Princess G, and not kind of, always duel just for the off chance that G is watching her and becomes proud of her in the future. I just thought Roman might be a bit more personal with her reasons for dueling. Although saying that though, Roman thinking about Princess G did allow us to see Princess G one more time, and that character always has a great design, and hey, she was wearing leathers with a motorbike suit, what's not to like? But saying that, I did love the designs for Roman's new cards that she used within this duel. I thought all of those designs were superb. Now this could also stem from the fact that I do love the other card game series, Cardfight Vanguard, as well as the fact I like archetypes within Yu-Gi-Oh such as the Silent Magician and the other level up type of monsters. But always seeing a card evolve with having a lower stage and then an upper stage and an even better stage, like we had with Candy and Candidi, is that how you say that one? You'll see it up on screen here. But I just thought that was really cool. I like it when a monster has a progressive design, but also, the levels kind of increase in the power and skills increase as the monster matures and looks more and more sort of badass and cooler looking, or cuter in this case. Plus that incitation of English language with the summoning chant, I thought was amazing. I really liked that, and Roman's voice actress did a fantastic job with that part, and throughout this entire episode the voice acting was on point anyway. But yeah, that was surprising, really cool, and a much welcomed addition to the episode for me personally. As for Roa, seeing once again his overconfident attitude and charisma on full display was always a good time. Seeing his comments about heavy metal and Invader being his ace monsters and how they reflect his band members, adding on the fact as well that Death Doom symbolizes Roa himself, makes a lot more sense and plays nicely into Roa's mindset a few episodes ago where he was dueling Mimi. The fact that he sacrificed in that duel his two ace monsters to summon Death Doom was a way of the episode stating that Roa does feel like he can stand on the stage alone. He feels like in that moment in time when dueling Mimi, he could basically sacrifice Geda and Ushio and make himself look better in the process by he alone standing there. Yet, Roa having this change of heart over these few episodes, having both Rook and Romin talk to him and enlighten his kind of mindset. Well, actually, Rook didn't do that. Rook talked to Geda and Ushio, but Romin always calling him out, and the other events that have happened with Roa's character has made him see things in a different light. value things in a different way. Learning the fact that he can't always stand on the stage alone. He uses Heavy Metal and Invader and Death Doom all at the same time, together on the field at once. I think this was the first time that we've seen a level 7 or higher monster kind of collectively fill up the 3 spaces that the Monster Zone has on a Rush Dueling board. So this was awesome to see. Now, the reuniting of Roa's band was predictable, which did kind of ruin the emotional connection for me within this episode. I wasn't jumping for joy when Gedda kind of picked up Roa's microphone and tossed it to him, saying, "I can't let you do that," or whatever it was he said, because I don't really care about Gedda and Ushio. Despite everything that they've tried to show us within these past few episodes with Roa's development, I still think Roa is the coolest one out of the band members. And I just don't really like Gedda and Ushio that much. But I am glad that this band conflict is resolved for the time being. But who knows, maybe Gedda will join the evil side once again in the future after having another tantrum. But hopefully not, because I feel like that kind of plot thread is way too diluted now, and hopefully things are settled for good between Roa and his bandmates. But you know what? Fair play to Roa for having a change of heart and seeing for as time being that he can't be such an overconfident and arrogant person, that he has to do everything himself so that he alone shines. I loved that line about how Romin was telling Roa that he looked as dim as he possibly has throughout his life at this time in the duel. You know, Roa was giving Romin a compliment, saying, "You're shining brightly as ever." And she goes, "Yeah, well, you're as dim as ever." That was pretty cool. Not gonna lie, Romin, you had a bit of sass there. Awesome. Now then, with Gakuto versus Neil coming up, this tournament's point system, which I'm not overly fond of, does hint at a draw between these two characters, keeping the team's level on points, while moving into round 3, which of course will be Yuga versus Rook. Speaking of Rook though, he was a little bit odd in this episode, as he did rather profound in saying that he can hear the fact that Romin was having a good time, just by closing his eyes and listening to the roars of the crowd and the way things flowed. But then, I don't know why, but I found the animation of his character just looked really clunky and odd. Like, the size of his head was out of proportion. Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters do typically have a lot of hair, but for me, Rook seemed to have way too much hair, and just kind of looked a bit off altogether within this episode. But nevertheless though, you have to let me know if that's just a thing that I noticed, or if that's a thing that you as well noticed while watching this episode. Because my eyes could have been playing tricks on me, but then again, Rook's a weird one, isn't he? We'll move on. I overall enjoyed this episode. I thought this was a fun, enjoyable, exciting, and surprising episode overall. I think episode 50 could also be a great episode with a few twists and turns, despite this large hint at a possible predictable result. I do think some plot element is going to come into play. Plus, we got the whole Gakuto versus Neil and the Ranzei situation. Will Gakuto impress so much that Ranzei will return to him? Or will Gakuto pull out something a little bit new? Maybe a new costume? I know something on social media has been circulating where Gakuto's looking a bit gangster looking. Maybe that's what the preview was hinting at when he whipped off his cloak. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway though, let me know your thoughts on this episode down in the comment section below, and hopefully you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button, and of course subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content from myself. But until then, I hope you have a great day moving forward, and I'll catch you next time. Alligator Matane. Goodbye.